They don't get a recap.
Fuck you. Alright, how do people actually come to the stream?
An average of one person.
Possibly do.
Yeah, one, maybe two people a week.
I think you would want to streaming it simply so we can archive it.
Yeah, that's the main purpose, is I archive the streams so that if I get confused as a GM, I can go back and check.
I gotcha.
Which is why I should probably be streaming Waterdeep Dragon Heist on Mondays too, because that's the one I go through and actually make a bunch of changes to and have to remember what I'm doing. Yeah, and then the archive, I get normally 1 or 2 views, and I know that those views are my son, because my son likes watching this. No, that does not constitute this being for children. YouTube, don't do that. He has my express permission. He has my express permission. I am his parent. This is not intended for children, but I will allow my son to watch it because he's interested in being a DM, and it's good practice to observe other DMs.
I like how it's better to not be family friendly on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, oh god, and that's such a stupid law. It's a stupid change. Because you know what they did, right? The FCC reclassified things, so personal electronic identifiers are in the same category as like addresses and phone numbers. But you can't run a website with users without an electronic identifier for the user. Which means now that YouTube can't collect data for people who are underage for that thing, so they can't track comments, they can't do targeted advertising, they can't do anything like that. And the reason is because someone at the FCC heard, oh, they're tracking this user number, and got upset and literally had no fucking clue how the internet works. Let's not bitch about that. Let's come back to Cauldron. What the people on the stream missed was a recap and then no events on the way back to Cauldron.
There were no events.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'd have missed epic. Yeah, no. They missed epic dinosaur battle.
Yeah, they would have missed a slaughtering diamond.
Yes. Tonatium died. R.I.P.
No, again, I can see you did.
Bye. Yeah, you're fine. Everyone's good. So, as you come into Cauldron, what do y'all want to do? I assume talk to Jenya.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Where did I put your tokens? Oh, they're over in the town hall. Let me see if I can.
When you go shopping for a hat. I forgot. Why are we looking for this one guy again? Like, since the start, of our search.
Which one guy? Alec?
Alec, yeah. Because he said he found corruption in the town guard, and challenged Chiefs into a duel, but never showed up, and that's really suspicious of him.
Yeah. And then, there was that whole protest, and now that guy is being threatened with execution, and there's rumor that the guard of Cauldron are going to literally march on the town of Red Gorge and, kick it open to take the guy. And it's all because Alec didn't show up for a duel, so if you find him, you stop it. Also, he's like Arias' mentor, so Arias wants to find it.
Kind of important to me.
Yeah.
Dirk half wants to find him because he wants to see the duel.
Yeah, Dirk wants to see the duel. Tonatium, I don't know why Tonatium's interested in Alec.
I am not.
Tonatium's just making sure these two idiots don't die.
Yep, Tonatium's our chaperone. is why I always joke that Tonatium's the fucking mother of the group.
Tonatium Tenexon.
He's probably... Since he like found out before I got in exile, it's more or less his business whether he wants it to be or not.
Good old Tonatium Tenexon.
How about what his party members are doing?
So, are we going to head in to speak with Jenya immediately, or is there anything else you want to do as you come in kind of towards the evening, because it's about a day's ride in from Red Gorge?
Is there anywhere I can buy a 10 GP fancy hat?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm gonna buy a 10 GP fancy swashbuckler's hat.
Why?
It's important, okay?
It's important to his character.
It's important to... yeah. Well, not important to my character, it's important to mechanics. It literally is, I'm not joking.
Dirk's like, I need a hat.
I need a hat.
Why do you need a hat?
You'll see. I also need Tonatium for at least a day.
Oh boy, what do you need me to do?
You can make a magical item.
That depends. I'll need a specific item so I can figure out what I need to gather.
It is the Plume of Panache. It is 500 GP, which I will pay. Craft wondrous item, and you need the spell heroism, but if you don't have the spell, it'll just increase the DC by 5.
You could probably pay for a scroll.
I would rather not pay for the scroll. I'm pretty sure you can make the DC anyways. It's DC 15 without the spell.
yeah, I can make it.
Yeah, but you don't need to spend on money on the level 3 scroll.
So literally, Dirk buys a hat and is like, Tonatium, money, make magic.
Yeah.
Just so you know, my bonus for spellcraft is 17.
Yeah, and it's a DC 15 without the spell.
You may not even need a whole day to do that. You may not even need a whole day to do that.
You can't even fail. That's the funny part.
Yeah. So, yeah, you stop by a shop and get a hat and make plans to do that on your way to speak with Jenya about Alec.
I love that that's actually part of the magic item. It needs to be attached to a hat of at least 10 GP worth of value.
Pretty sure we had a hat somewhere in the treasury.
So, yeah. You arrive. I'll just take you into the temple, because we haven't used the temple in a while. Here's the temple.
There it is.
So you arrive at the Temple of St. Cuthbert, which is, as is usual these days, closed outside of regular worship hours with an acolyte standing guard. And as you approach, she goes, Tonatium, yes, the Forgotten Exiles. I assume you're here to speak with Jenya?
Yes.
Right, go on in. She's cleaning the altar.
Thank you. I can just imagine how hard these two would just get to the door without me. Come along, you two.
She would actually, the acolyte would actually have addressed you as Lord Traderson. Which is probably annoying, but that is legally your name.
Annoying, but legal.
Yeah, you walk into the temple and you can see Jenya is cleaning the altar.
Jenya, it's been a while.
It has, Tonatium. What can I do for you?
Well, these two are looking for Elric. Alec? What was his name?
Alec.
Dark, what's his name again?
Alec Person was his name.
Since you two seem to have more of an understanding of the situation, I'd rather have you two ask the question.
Of course. Why don't we go into the conference room?
Of course.
And she leads you back into a conference room that Tonatium has been in before. The other two haven't. There you go. It's a pretty cramped little conference room. Table, chairs, closet in the corner.
Yay for claustrophobia.
Yeah, Dirk is not comfortable. Actually, it's not that bad. There are windows in here. Are there? No, I'm sorry. This is the one that doesn't have windows. It's the ones at the front that have windows. This is the one for private conversations. Yeah, she comes in and goes, so, I don't believe I know your names. I recognize the golden savior of Pelor. I am Genya Urias, unfortunately now high priest of this temple.
My name is Dirk.
And is Tom gone?
Tom.
Hello?
Sorry, you guys are cutting out really bad on me.
Oh.
I'm trying to get this fixed. It's really hard to hear you. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I heard that.
Let me...
No, not anymore. Okay, I think I got it fixed. Apologies for that. I was messing with this stupid cord. Okay. Good. I think.
I mean, if we ought to make sure I can read, the necessary labor time is the time per day or per week, which workers must work in the average conditions of in the industry of their day to produce the equivalent of their own livelihood at the socially and historically determined standard of living of their day. As wage workers, however, they cannot get paid until they have completed a full working day, and that extra time they work over and above the necessary labor time is called surplus labor time. Are we good?
Yes, I have no idea what you just said, but yes.
Shh, I'm reading capital at you.
Oh, okay.
Break all the laws of aviation, of beast not being able to fly, it's fat on the body. So, I can't do it.
Okay, so she's shaken hand. Urias has shaken hand. Not Urias, but Genya has shaken hands with Dirk, is reaching out to shake hands with Urias, who she recognizes as the golden savior of Pelor.
I will happily shake her hand.
She says, so, what are you seeking about, Alec?
We weren't able to find him when we went searching the Red Gorge, but apparently Colton's going to be sending soldiers there, we heard?
I've heard too. I'm worried. In fact, I support his accusation. I'm beginning to be convinced that Skellerang is the main source of corruption in the government. But I'm worried that the rumors of demonic possession might actually be true. He hasn't actually come to church in 2 months.
Skellerang.
Turson, the captain of the guard.
No, Turson. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. She believes Alec's accusations, but she's also concerned because Alec hasn't been to church in 2 months. What if he is possessed?
He hasn't been to church in a month.
He's been a friend of mine since we were both children. I'm the one who brought him into the faith of Saint Cuthbert, back when he was just another dilettante. I don't know.
There was an assassination attempt during the riots.
I heard, and I heard that you drove whatever that creature was away.
I'm going to nod. Because I have no idea Antonio did that. For all I know, my damage did it.
Well,
I roll my eyes.
I don't know where Alec is. I know he's been visiting Red Gorge recently. And when he's been coming back from his adventures, he's been selling art objects to Tigget Mispus, who runs an antiquities shop on Lava Avenue. I'd offer to use a divination from the Star of Justice, but I already have, and it's not very helpful. She takes out a book in which she records the divinations from the Star of Justice and turns to the last page. Late on the path of justice, trapped between glass and stone, he weeps where many can see him, but he can see only himself.
Trapped between glass and stone. Do you have a full thing?
Give me one moment. Select. Copy. Paste. Helps if I use Control instead of Shift. And then he's been selling things to this guy.
Late on the path of justice, trapped between glass and stone. Weeps where many can see him, but he can only see
Agenia says, as I said, this is vague and not very helpful.
I'm not sure either.
A mirror?
I'm trying to figure out what the path of justice might be.
Well, he had a duel for the honor of the college or something, or like his accusation of the guard, right? That's obviously the path of the justice that he's late for.
Is there anything new that they're doing there right now? Or around that area?
Doing where?
What Antonio was saying.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch it. What were you saying, Antonio?
Oh, about how the path of justice probably meant like how he was late for his duel.
I mean, yeah, that's all the newness of that.
That's pretty. Like I was thinking,
I have my specific location.
No.
the trap between glass and stone. He weeps for him and you can see him, but he can only see himself. Somehow, I don't know. My gut feeling tells me it has to do with a mirror.
Jenya goes, wait, he's trapped in a mirror?
this is only conjecture at the moment. I don't have any actual guesses, like actual facts or anything. This is purely conjecture.
Right. Well,
the big key might be where many can see him, but he can only see himself. So he has to be somewhere public.
As I said, this has not been a helpful divination. But still, I don't know. Maybe there's more. Maybe he found something that could help you that he sold to Taggett. I don't even know how to begin to look. She stops and she's just thinking, and she goes, no. And the glass and stone could be metaphorical. He could be caught between a rock and a hard place, so to speak. Trapped between the stone of society and the glass of his recommendation. This is the problem with divinations. We were lucky. Previously, when we were looking for the orphans, that we got such a clear one.
Perhaps this one is clear as well, and we're just overthinking it?
Perhaps. But if it is, I have no idea what it might mean. Although, she flips back to the one about Gelv. This wasn't very clear when we first got it either. It was that extra piece of information about Gelv's locks that led us to understand this. Do you want me to take you to Taggett's? We might be able to find something there.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. It's just around the corner from the temple. In particular, as I take you over there, it's location 12.
I just one thing.
Yes. Are you okay?
Oh, okay, I'm just, tired. I'm more awake than I was, though, so that's something.
Yes. So, Taggett's shop is a pretty small shop. As you walk in, there's knickknacks and paintings and all sorts of little art objects scattered around. And there's an older gentleman who, well, is very clearly a half-elf. He's got the pointed ears and all of that going on. And as you walk into the shop, he turns and goes, "Welcome to Taggett's Old Things. I have a beautiful Tonatium. Dirk. You saved the city from flooding. You saved my warehouse. Not the dramatic warehouse incident. I'm not that warehouse, but the flood. You remember? And there were the control rods.
Oh yeah, that.
The water was just lapping up into my warehouse. You saved my business.
It was nothing.
Oh, it was my livelihood. Come in. Let me make you some tea. Golden armor. I've heard a rumor about it's not important. Let me give you some tea. And he leads you back into a back office where there's a nice table with a tablecloth and some big cushy chairs. It's what he's, if you mouse over his token, you can see the image of his little back office. Big armchairs. He's got a little dog. And as you come into the back room, the dog turns to... Let's rando this. Arias. And vanishes and reappears right on Arias's chest going,
I'm going to pet the puppers because adorable magic puppers.
He goes, Le porc, don't bother the night. And it goes poof and disappears in the old man's lap. Exactly.
Quite the trick the dog learned.
Oh, he didn't learn it. He knew it. Who's a good little blink dog? Who's a good little blink dog? Very expensive. Very expensive. Very good boy.
Knowledge nature about blink dogs.
So, they're a magical beast. They are constantly blinking. So you can see, even as he's sitting there, it's like shimmering and kind of vibrating back and forth in space. And it can also, at will, dimension door. Quickened dimension door.
Yeah.
It's a teleporting doggo.
Teleporting doggo.
But yeah. As he's offering you tea, come in. He offers you tea. So, wonderful, wonderful. What have you all been up to since saving the city?
I've been going towards the others.
Well, we had to go on a trip to the Outer Dark to find the nobleman's son.
Well, how wonderful. I imagine you rescued that boy as well.
More like he's so strong as around.
He looked confused for a moment and then realized you interpreted that boy as the one in golden armor. Oh, yes. So you're with them. Oh, I recognize Tonatium Traderson. He's a famous figure. And Dirk, yes. You're not the great Turvu, but my understanding is he retired after that affair.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, though. It's pretty handy. But I can understand why he would retire after dying. I'm pretty sure it's not easy.
Well, it's very few people who can say that they've died and then retired.
Mm-hmm.
And, who are you, golden armored one?
My name is Arias.
Yes,
I'm a paladin of Pelor.
Well, I just wish to say, if you have any art objects you wish to sell, I will give you a good price.
I'm going to nod. I'll see what I can do. I'm currently trying to see about helping out the Temple of Pelor here.
And he goes, well, best of luck to you, I suppose.
Oh, not at that.
You can see he has a little holy symbol of Ouijas on his necklace.
Oh.
Ouijas is the most widely worshipped deity in Cauldron.
At least I know to bring back the dead, so I have one thing going for me to try to attract people.
So he goes, well, I know you didn't just come to my shop to visit little old me. What sort of things are you looking for?
We were wondering about, Alec.
Tercival? He's such a good friend and such a wonderful supplier. Like, you can see the old man's eyes light up. My understanding is he tithes a tenth of his treasure to the church, puts the rest aside. Comes here every time he finishes an adventure to turn art objects into cash. Let me take a look. I know he has brought some interesting things lately. And he grabs a ledger and flips it around and goes, yes. Objects 1312, 2247, and he just goes off like serial numbers and goes, these are all fairly expensive items. I don't keep them in the shop. But would you like to come with me to the warehouse and we can get them out and you can see them?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Wonderful. Except this one. This one's here, and as he's heading out, he stops and he plucks a statue of a goose off of a shelf. Well, come with me, and he leads you down to his warehouse on Ash Avenue, which is over in one of these unnamed buildings. There we go. And I'm going to take you to the Handouts tab. Because while I know we'd love to look at him, I think you'd rather look at the art objects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the first one is the statue of a goose that he brought from his place.
Where's that? Yes. Oh, there it is.
The goose.
Yep. It's about the size of an actual little goose.
Ah, yes. Statue of the Feathered Terror.
He goes,
Still hear its honks till this day.
Well, this is very clearly, he said, Targat says, this is very clearly one of the statues created by Clemilda Spellmason, great-granddaughter of Surabar Spellmason. She created 12 of these goose statues after being deeply moved by the sight of a flock of ducks over the lake.
Aren't ducks and geese different?
Yes. She was... most of them were destroyed or lost. In fact, we thought all of them were when Alec brought this in. It's been a big find. Crash, crash, bang.
I want to appraise this.
Sure, go ahead. Oh, this is worth about 300 gold in and of itself. Yeah. It's a pretty nice little thing. And then he goes, now the next one he found was, here. And he pulls out a covered painting and reveals it. It's a painting of a knight standing in robes with a axe and a sword.
What is this supposed to be?
I do believe that this is a painting of Axel Hearwall, the bailiff of the village of Gradsul, up near Selmarine. It's, 100, 200 gold. You're not quite sure about the value of paintings, you don't think? He goes, but Tyget goes, yes. Axel Hearwall was the bailiff of Gradsul about 250 years ago. Now, this next one I was concerned might have been cursed when it came to me, but I've been assured it's not magical in any way, even if its symbolism is potentially troublesome. And he pulls out a box, and inside it is an ornate darkwood baboon mask, plated over in patterns of gold, and what looks almost like like someone's liquefied rubies and turned it into paint.
That's cool.
Goes, yes. This is the mask of Saraslan. You may make a knowledge religion check if you have ranks in it.
No, actually, yes.
19.
I'm getting my thing up. It's not wanting to load. Why is my thing not loading?
Why is your thing not loaded already?
Because my phone turned off.
Ah.
There we go. Okay, I'm in. I have this character sheet on my phone. That's why. And my phone turned off and then went turned back on. Boop. There we go. Alright. I mean,
Yeah, so neither of you recognize the name Saraslan, but Tyget explains that Saraslan was an evil deity worshipped in the jungles west of Cauldron. And apparently the descendants of Surabar went out and drove those cults to extinction. For the most part. Although legend says that some were-baboons who worship Saraslan still exist.
Were-baboons?
Were-baboons.
The tour team's gonna ship him comfortably at the mention of were-baboons.
Yeah, it's a human-sized mask, and it could be worn if one were inclined.
How much would this be valued, though?
400 or 500 gold, maybe. It's carved of dark wood. It's paint plated in gold and ruby. It's nice.
You could probably get more value of it if someone was into collecting religious items.
Tiger goes, yeah, especially evil religious items. We haven't really had much buyers for it, but I have it. So the next one that he brought me, this one's interesting. And he shows you a statue of a fish-like creature. Carved out of pink marble. Its eyes hollow. Tonatium for sure, and possibly Dirk, will recognize this as the same fish-like creature that's on the signs for the Morkoth Inn, representing the legendary beast of Cauldron's Lake. He says, I didn't really think too much about this until I looked at it closely. This is older than Cauldron. I thought that that the Morkoth was a myth that the drunks at the tavern made up, but it may have existed before. But yes, this is called the God of the Lake.
If it predates Cauldron, then...
Is that an appraisal?
Yep.
This is 300 gold pieces. The statue's broken at the bottom. It would have probably been worth more, maybe up to 1,000 if it were intact, but it's broken off at the bottom. So it's probably about 300 gold worth. Yes. And then, perhaps most interestingly, he brought me this. Come on, work, machine. It's a rectangular plate of silver, etched with figures and ciphers. He goes, now this would be worth a great deal if it weren't already desecrated on the back.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he flips it over, and on the back you can see various markings that seem to have been etched in recently, along with notes written in giant.
In giant?
Yes.
I can't figure out what that says.
Can anyone read giant? The answer is comprehend languages, right?
Yes.
I'll reveal the backside then.
I have a hell of comprehend language.
Yep. So you could actually read the backside.
Yep.
It's a map.
It's a map.
The English on this map is the translation of the giant.
I'm going to read this off to everyone.
You're telling me this is a map?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's a river that's labeled river. There's a little figure labeled Headless Demon. A thing labeled home, knoll path, round cave, and Vaprak's voice.
So home looks like a mountain.
I wonder if this is a clue. Knowledge geographies. Figure out where this could have been.
Okay. So you recognize the term Vaprak's voice just from your historical research. I would normally say do history, but I know that Tonatium's been doing a bit of that on his side work. Vaprak's voice is the name of the place where Suraman Spellman bound the demon Prince Nabathon. And based on kind of just the legends of where the Vaprak's voice and the demon scar are located, you suspect that the river on this map might be the Red River, kind of southwest of Red Gorge.
Right, so the river is southwest of Red Gorge.
So the river actually goes past. It's the same river Red Gorge is on. But
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, I'm looking at the Colgan and Vine thing.
yep.
So the river's southwest of Red Gorge. And the mountain, or the home, and, like, the voice and all that, that's north. Or
Again-
the demon scar.
Again, the map isn't super accurate.
It's not super accurate, but that's, like, one of the major spots on the map is demon scar.
Yeah, the demon scar is where Nabathon and his forces burst forth from the abyss. And Vaprak's voice is supposed to be near the demon scar.
Yes.
What's this headless demon?
And what is home?
Who's home?
That's what the mountain is right here. It says home.
Are we sure it's a mountain and not some sort of pet?
And it is all written in giant, so...
I'm translating everything
Yeah.
for everybody.
On the back, the front is not written in giant, although you have the helm of comprehend languages.
Before you do, is this an Omlik by chance?
Oh, what?
Is this an Omlin?
No, it is not.
No?
No, it is not. It's not in any language that any of you recognize. But the comprehend languages lets you read it.
I thought this one would be really useful.
It turns out to be incredibly useful right now.
Let us bypass the 2 DC 30 checks that you'd have to make. Although there is one to fully understand, like, what that figure is, because there's a figure with 6 arms on the front of it. But reading through the incantations, you can read that this is a description of the construction of a magic mirror for traversing space and time, created by some ancient society of powerful spellcasting creatures. They call this thing the Starry Mirror. And at the bottom is a series of numbers. 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. That's the right-hand side of this. On the left-hand side, there are 3 scenes, and you realize, thanks to your comprehend languages, that their language is written from bottom to top, right to left.
Okay.
So you know that you should read these the same way. The bottom scene shows these spellcrafting creatures enslaving ogres to build a great tower. And it shows them, the next one up shows them working and gathering things and doing the spell etchings to create sort of a nexus of planar travel. The middle one shows that they are being empowered by a magical elixir that grants them enough strength to carry things even ogres would not normally be able to carry. And then the top one shows what they call the Great Planar Travel Installation, completed to house the Starry Mirror and travel anywhere in the multiverse with a whim.
Huh.
But yeah.
Was this the last item Alec dropped off?
Yes, he dropped this off actually the same morning that he made his his challenge.
Where was he before that?
Oh, my understanding he was operating out of Red Gorge doing his adventures. If you're interested in it, Taggart says, if you're interested, I could get you this plate for, 800 gold. And you hear his dog, which followed you down to the warehouse, go, and he goes, 600. 5? Fine, 400. I'll let them have it at cost just to please you. Lepuk. 400 gold pieces for it.
I have a question.
Yes?
Would it be possible to, identify how long ago the carving on the markings on the back were made?
I would say that would be a knowledge engineering check.
I don't have that. I'm sure Antonio might.
Engineering's not my strong suit, but I can...
It's better than mine. I have a -1 and untrained.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, based on the etchings and the erosion, you think that the carvings there are probably less than 10 years old.
Etchings left.
Yeah.
Can't be older than 10 years old, at the very least. But that's best as I can figure that out. I wonder, would this make my scrying spell stronger if I were to have an object of, since Alec supposedly touched it?
Alaric is the asshole I worked with at my last job.
Alec is an alchemist.
That's Elric. Alec. Like Alex with a K.
Alex is like without the X.
Yeah.
I just like to think Toti just keeps mispronouncing it
Because he doesn't care.
He didn't care about him.
But I imagine Tonatia might be interested now that he's been like, oh, ancient society of spellcasting creatures with interplanar portal technology? Cool.
And a map?
And a map?
Yeah, Matt. What kind of explains these creatures if it has to do with interdimensional travel?
Sure. They do not seem to be any sort of planar creature you recognize.
Perhaps Arcana?
So both of those checks kind of give you some insight into what you're seeing there on that image on the right. That image at the top is definitely a sort of portal that they can adjust. But they don't seem to be arcane creatures per se. Although you are beginning to remember hearing legends of creatures called spellweavers. But you're not really sure about what they were. Nature or history might help you here.
Nature or history? Sounds like strong. I'll go with history.
Okay. You know that you actually don't know anything about them. Holy crap, that DC.
Wow, I cannot make that.
Yeah, you don't know anything other than they may have existed. There are legends of creatures called spellweavers.
How don't we just purchase this thing and try to follow the map?
Yes, I'll sell it to you gladly for 500. Whining dog. 400 gold. I don't know why you're being like this, Lepook. You normally let me con people and get more money.
Maybe we want to con the people who saved your warehouse.
That's true. Don't tell anyone, though. I am a businessman. I need to make money.
Trust me, business people. I understand that. If you gotta haggle, you gotta haggle. If you gotta upcharge, you gotta upcharge.
But yes, 400 gold pieces. I can let this plate go.
Alright, I'm back. Did you buy the tablet?
Dirk will pay for it.
Okay. Dirk is now the proud owner of the hegemonic plate.
The hegemonic plate.
Yes. So the question is, what do you wish to do with the hegemonic plate?
That's the thing. It gives a clue of where Alec has been, but it doesn't give us a clue what happened between the Hey, how long did it take from the challenge to the actual day of the duel anyway?
It was 2 days, wasn't it?
Yeah. He put out the call for 2 days.
And how far away is Red Gorge from Polka? A day?
A day, yeah. If he was going to Red Gorge, then he'd go to Red Gorge, rest, come back.
He had been interrupted on the way.
In your treks to and from Red Gorge, you haven't seen any evidence of that.
I don't think he got interrupted on the way, but maybe he got sidetracked.
This is so confusing. I have not prepped Sky today, so I cannot attempt to find him again.
No, we could prepare and try to find tomorrow, or another day. If anything, this map is obviously important.
We don't even know. I'm pretty sure Alec didn't even do anything with the map. What the heck is this headless demon anyway? How would we
We'll jump through your list of things. It's knowledge local.
It's not much left.
So you want to do knowledge local?
Yeah. It's a statue. It's an ancient statue southwest of Red Gorge.
So that's probably our starting point, if anything. We should probably also be careful with the home.
With the what?
With the thing labeled home.
Yeah, you labeled home.
We don't want to get in trouble with giants. Are we gonna need horses for this trip again?
You would know that there are not roads where this. If this map's where you think it is, there aren't roads. There aren't paths.
Yeah,
The best way to get from Red Gorge to the Headless Demon would be by boat, and then you'd be trekking through deep, dense jungle.
People turn around and pat her and give a big slap to her right. So that, hey, it's like you're exploring the jungle. Your ground boy.
It can't be that bad.
Trust me, it is not pleasant at all.
Gonna end up at someone's dinner, aren't we?
Mostly the mosquitoes.
Just remembering the hopeful velociraptors, or whatever they were, that were flying and...
And I guess we should probably prepare before we head out on this thing.
That's probably a good idea.
How long would it take for me to prep that plume thing for you?
It is a 500 GP item. Yeah, 500 GP items. It's only at most a day.
Yep.
Most of the day.
Make a spellcraft check.
DC 15.
Bonus.
You don't have heroism.
Yeah, no, you sit down. He describes a thing to you, and you go, "Oh," and you get it cranked out in about 2.5 hours.
Okay. And now, I would like to describe it. Well, let me actually look it up so I can describe it to you. It's going to be very goofy on my very, not colorful at all bird person.
Meanwhile, I think I'm going to learn one more spell for it, if we're just going to do nothing else for the rest of that day.
Okay.
Alright, the Plume of Panache. It is an oversized, chic and extravagant. To gain the effects, the user must affix it to a non-magical hat with at least 10 GP. So, as you create this item, which is just a massive, bright, colorful feather, I put it on a hat and stick the hat on my head.
And now you're...
So now I am a bird thing with a giant plume hat.
You are a handsome bird.
So while you guys are deciding what you want to do for preparation, I've brought you over to a new map, so you can decide what order you want to sit on your canoe when it gets to that point. Assuming you're going to rent a canoe at Red Gorge.
I do not like the name of this map. A road to the shore.
Oh, hey, you know what? You want to know what? Want to know what something now? I was looking through the spellbooks I collected, and it turns out one of them had heroism.
Oh, and then you did that.
Oh, in that case, it was only about an hour and a half.
Yeah, because you had the spell, so it was DC 10.
You're fine. Yeah. Road to the Destroyer, it's fine.
It's fine, I'm not gonna die, I'm gonna be destroyed.
Should I do that?
How do you get repositioned? Do you want like Arias? Do you want to have like an Arias, Dirk, Tonatian sandwich with Tonatian in the center?
I should probably mention that those beams are the seats, so the object's I think the canoe's actually a little bit big here. Let me...
Nope, I can't. Yeah.
There we go. That's more correct size for the canoe.
I think I'll have to do more research on the spell before I can figure out how to cast it as a different goals in transmutation.
What spell is it?
Fly? Or like I was thinking of fly, and I was thinking of overland flight.
Yeah,
But overland flight doesn't have like other schools.
Okay. So you're beginning research into learning how to do flight and overland flight.
Yes.
Okay. So you spend that.
It's in my forbidden fly itself, and overland flight are in my forbidden school though. So.
Oh. So you'll have to
do. What I'm trying to do is like trying to figure out how to cast it in another school.
So you're doing spell research.
I didn't know what the name of those hats that like which normally wear are called, so I just called it big ass fancy hat.
It's a pimp hat.
I was thinking of trying to do something cool where I like modify the floaty disc spell so like I have them underneath my feet and I can fly like that.
That's not feet, isn't it?
So what spell level is fly?
30.
Okay. So you will, in order to create a non-transmutation version of fly, it will take you'll need to pull off 3 spellcraft checks, and each one will require a week of research and 1,000 gold pieces of expenditure before you can make it.
And a lot of money.
Yeah. Independent spell research is very expensive.
Sadly, I don't have enough time for that.
Yes. So, that's that.
I'm not even sure if I have enough money. Nope.
I would imagine it would end up being a conjuration spell, and you'd be literally summoning, like, angel's wings from another dimension to hold you aloft.
I was actually looking at the other alternative flies, and it does have conjuration version, but you summon an elemental spirit.
Yeah, something along those lines. when you come up with that, I will let you fluff it as you consider appropriate for Tonatium. Heck, maybe you can come up with a way of doing it with abjuration magic or evocation magic. I don't know. But that's rules-wise. If you're wanting to craft that spell in a non-transmutation, you'll need to do independent research to create that spell. And
we could possibly do when we get a long time of downtime.
yeah, and it will require a successful spellcraft check per level of the spell you're crafting, and each success before you can attempt the roll is a week and 1,000 gold. And
probably put that down somewhere.
And failures still cost you money. That's you spending money on a line of research that doesn't pan out. That said, I don't think you can fail the check with your spellcraft.
Yeah, which is plus 17. That's right. You can't nat one ability check.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's DC 20, so you could theoretically fail.
You could fail it if you roll anything less than a 3.
Yes.
Well, that'll be something to consider once we have downtime again.
Mm-hmm. Once we have at least 3 weeks of downtime.
And these don't have to be consecutive weeks.
Yeah, so if you're like, you're doing research,
Yeah.
you stop, you do something, you're doing more research afterwards.
So, like, you've spent a day on this, so for that first check, you only have 6 more days you have to do.
Alright.
So, I mean, you can spread this out over time. Yeah. Let me know when you're ready to make your trip to Red Gorge and then onward.
We should probably bring provisions.
Yes, you probably should.
I mean, I have 13 trail rations in my bag.
How many provisions do you wish to bring?
Back.
Let's see.
That's not so smart.
See the channel. Oh.
No, we're probably going to need this tent. Or at least, like, we're looking at tents.
Put that in the treasury.
You need tents, unless Antonio knows Liamon's tiny hut or the magnificent mansion spell or something like that.
Yes.
Nope.
Or rope trick.
Rope trick!
What would rope trick do anyway?
You toss a rope in the air and then you climb up into an extra dimensional space that you can pull the rope into.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Oh, interesting, but I can't do it.
How much does tents cost?
It depends. What sort of tent do you want? Do you want a full pavilion?
Single man tent.
Do you want a full pavilion tent?
Oh, we don't need a full pavilion tent.
Let's get a pavilion tent.
That's for 10 people.
You never know, we might need it.
We're 3. We are 3.
Hey, you just need one person here.
I assume you want just a large tent for all 3 of you? Do you want one large tent for everyone to squeeze inside of?
We're going to cuddle up.
It holds 4 creatures, so it's spacious enough that you don't need to be on top of one another.
I think it's like 1 tent for each of us, or just 1 big tent for all 3?
I'm thinking of a big tent.
That's fine.
Alright, how much does that cost?
Another option, you could get hanging tents.
Hanging tents?
Those you need 1 per person, but you can hang them from a tree, and then you don't have to worry about ground-based animals.
Yeah, just like monkeys and raccoons and bear baboons.
Yeah. And how much do those cost?
So a hanging tent is 20 gold pieces per tent. A large tent is 30 gold. A pavilion tent is 100 gold. And a pavilion tent can have a fire inside the tent. A pavilion tent's like a yurt.
Yeah. We got that.
Done.
Now, what do you two think? Hanging tents or large tent?
Well, for myself, I'd rather have a large tent, but if you want about the extra mile, you don't mind the hanging tent.
I think Arias has already put his vote for buying a pavilion tent.
We could, but you're the one going to be carrying it. Pavilion tent is big.
How easily can you pack them?
A pavilion tent is 50 pounds, which is only 10 pounds more than a large tent.
Jesus.
Unfolds into a open air canopy with stakes, poles, and ropes, with room enough for 10 creatures and a small fire in the center.
We're just going to do you for a while, aren't we? So we don't really need to carry it until then.
Yeah.
I just realized something fun that I really want a hand tent.
I'm sorry?
What? I just realized something really fun, and now I want a hand tent. So there's one item I have in my possession. An immovable rod.
No, it's not a team. I would say pick whatever.
I can hang my tent out of fucking nowhere. There's no way any baboon's gonna get to me. I'm hanging fucking 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, so you just tell me what... So yeah, you just agree on what you want, I'll give you the price, and then we can move on.
Alright.
So...
I'm gonna wait for Tom, though.
Are we waiting for Tom? I thought he said he was back.
Tom? No, he's not
Okay.
Looks like it. Or sounds like it.
So while we're there, the person will attempt to sell you a collapsible bathtub, a number of bedrolls and blankets, a hammock. Are you interested in a collapsible bathtub?
No, not really.
Where is Rio and his bathtub and honey? Lies and slander.
You're back now.
Okay.
We need to agree on something. Are we all getting a large tent, or are we getting the potentially safer hanging tents?
Let's get this hanging tent, I think.
Alright, it's 20 gold for each of us.
Okay.
R.I.P. Pavilion Tent. One day someone will buy you.
We're only starting.
We would totally buy the tent for himself. I'm gonna share. You're not gonna share.
Tonatium's like, I need a pavilion tent for me and my ego.
Me and my big.
So is there anything else you're going to be getting before we head out?
I think I'm good.
I don't think bug spray exists in this universe.
There's some incense you could probably get.
Yes,
It'll
you
just
could
need
get
someone
incense.
to start a fire. Well, I have spark prepared, so burning the incense shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, you could get incense. It's 10 sticks for 10 gold. Each 10 sticks weighs 1 pound, and each stick burns for 1 hour. They smell nice and do keep the bugs away. So, how many sticks of incense do you want?
That's a good question.
Pretty much it's a gold for every hour you want to be safe from bugs. If you want, say, a week, that would be 168 gold. And that would be 16 pounds of sticks of incense.
You can just turn around and Dirk and you have like 106, like 168 sticks of incense sticking out of it.
By the time you get back, you permanently. I'm sorry?
Pack of holding.
Yeah, you have a pack of holding, right?
It's like a small penny pack of holding.
Yeah, you could.
The handy haversack.
Yeah, you got the handy haversack. You could fill that with incense if you want.
168. Yeah, sure, by 100. Do 168 gold worth of incense.
Okay. Dirk can now come back from this trip smelling like a new age shop.
And being completely bug free.
Yes. Is there anything else anyone wants to fiddle with? Jesus, you have a lot of money.
I do.
And that's after you asked me to buy it, to make that happen.
Yeah, I paid for the hat. What are you talking about? I had more before that.
Okay.
No, I meant like how it would cost to create the magic item.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, I had more before that. So with the hat thing too, dude, I bought the slab.
Dirk could fund Tonatium's spell research.
I could.
Actually, that's probably why Dirk has so much money, is he's not funneling it all into spell research all the time.
Yeah.
So, we're heading out.
How much are potions of cure serious wounds?
Don't we have a wand?
Yes, but I can't use wand and neither can you. Fucking Elias is out and we get some potions.
Oh wait, I actually trained to use magic device now.
Well, you might be able to do it then. Sorry.
Yeah. It's 750 gold pieces per potion
Per potion?
of Cure Serious.
How much is cure mod?
300.
I'll buy 3 cure mod books.
Okay.
I'll put one in my cane if you'll let me have it.
Put one of them in your cane. Alright. And that's 900 gold, right?
Yep.
So, that's 350. 900. 350. Well, the numbers are in.
You're running dangerously close to not being able to fund Stonatium's fly spell.
I thought you were getting close and not being able to fund me.
Yeah.
Okay, I found what I was looking for. I was trying to... Get the rope. 168 incense sticks.
So, anything else that you want to get before we head out?
Wait, what did you just buy right now?
What? What I just bought? I have 3 cure mod potions.
Okay, 3 cure mods. Oh wait, did I use that potion? Oh yeah, I still have that small backup. That. Green tea bottles, coat, well, the darkness, candle, magic offensive.
Make sure you guys have food, or actually, doesn't need food. Make sure you have food.
Yep, I don't need food.
Yeah. You just gotta make sure that Dirk has appropriate amounts of food and Tonachi, and that's appropriate amount of food.
Okay.
Oh yeah, rations. I should check when I have them.
I have 13 rations.
In case of emergency, your food will last longer than your bug spray.
Yeah. How many sticks of that was that again?
168.
168.
Which is 7 days.
7 168.
Alright. Let's see, I have 3 rations. I should probably buy more. How much rations?
How many rations?
Yeah, for now, 7.
Okay. That'll be 1 gold per 2. So that'll be 3.5 gold.
3.5 gold, okay. And I'm ready to change for that, so. Alright then.
Okay.
I think that was all good.
Have 2 sets of rope and some sticks.
Backpack, bedroll, soap, trail ration, torture, rod, incense, and tent.
Excuse me.
Wait, is that boat a rental or is it,
The boat will be a gift to you from the chisel.
Well, we'll make an effort to preserve it. Alright, well, I think I'm good for now.
I think I'm pretty much good.
Yep.
Oh, do you have like a compass or a wayfinder?
Yeah, you can get one of those.
How much?
It will be 10 gold pieces.
Really?
Yep, 10 gold for a compass. Which will give you a +2 bonus on survival checks.
Which I'm not tricked at.
Me neither.
Anyone trained at survival?
No.
Well, this is going to be fun.
I have a 0 in survival.
So, as we head down to Red Gorge, would you give me a 1d100?
This is part where we run into trouble.
Nope.
Nope, you're fine.
Big Gucci.
Now,
Oh my god, if I see any T-Rexes.
as you leave Red Gorge, yeah, we'll just run through you getting the boat, no problem. It's you can begin to row up the river. I'm going to need you to make a D100 roll on the river. Okay, let me double check how frequently we need to make, what the risk of this is. Okay, so I'll actually need you to make that D100 roll 3 more times.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 happened at the same time.
No. It's a 4-hour trip and a 10% chance per hour. There's going to be quite a few D100 rolls.
We'll be fine.
But yeah, so this is not to mean that you don't encounter anything on the river. Because once you get out of Red Gorge, you are in thick jungle. You see the serpents on the trees. The sounds of life are there constantly. Dirk lights his incense, and as soon as he does, you are immediately aware that you were already getting bitten by little stinging insects that are driven away. And it's about a 4-hour trip down the river until you make it to the demon, to the Headless Demon. So let me get you on your there. I put you on the encounter map because I was sure you'd have an encounter, and then you didn't.
This thing's that Headless Demon statue, not a bodiless demon.
Listen, I only have so many art assets.
No, I was trying to see his character.
But yeah, where that head is adjacent to it, there's a big headless demon. Just the head's on the ground. I couldn't find a headless statue to put there. But yeah, so after about 4 hours, a large beach runs along the northern bank of the Red River, and you can see a very badly weathered stone statue of some sort of humanoid creature. Its neck ends in a stump, and its expressive canine head lays in the sand a few feet away. Patches of mold and moss grow on the statue, but the vegetation around it seems to have been cleared away recently. There's a narrow trail that winds off to the northwest into the jungle just beyond the statue.
Well, that looks nice.
This isn't promising for boating at all.
Do you want to land your boat? And make the boat a token. That is owned
Well, we have to get off here anyway. If it's being maintained, then someone's probably close by.
Well, kind of just tell me where you want your boat to end up.
Everywhere.
That sounds bad.
Like,
Probably.
I would say right here.
Here?
okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Alright, how do we tie this up so the waves doesn't just wash it off shore?
With some rope.
Okay. Would you make an escape artist check is actually what it would be.
Don't look at me there.
I have a 6.
Okay.
Better than my 2.
Yeah, you tie the boat up to kind of some pins that you put into the ground. Oh, Mal, that's a bad time to BRB. I was just about to ask for a perception check.
Okay.
Well, Raggy.
Okay, then.
Would you kindly make perception checks?
Perception checks.
I'm too busy checking if the boat's secured.
Well, and we'll just say that Dirk is busy securing the boat.
Wait, what's going on?
Right when you said BRB was when I was going to call for perception checks, but you're too busy setting up the boat.
I get a perception check?
Nope.
Well, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're in trouble because you guys rolled less than my min.
Yes. So while Dirk is kind of on the ground tying this boat up, there's a sudden sort of snarl in the jungle.
New
And then
friends!
a yip,
That,
and a yip, and a yip.
that's not a yip.
And they spend their surprise round coming towards you. Where's their speed? let's just make them all visible.
No!
New friends! Sword.
Yeah, initiative.
Ah! Come on. Work, computer.
And then you are there, and you are there, and then you are there, and you are there. Okay. Dirk. I'll say you start the combat prone because you were down on your knees working on the boat. Hello?
That ruins my entire plan. Yay!
Yeah, you weren't expecting to be ambushed by all these gnolls. You were tying up the
That's
boat.
also kind of why I rolled my initiative without my sword bonus.
Yeah. This is based on what you were doing in the combat. I will say though it's going to be a quarter speed to stand, not a half speed, because
Not my entire speed.
yeah, because you're not fully prone. You're just like down on one knee, rope in hand.
Perfect. So, how far can I move that? My fly speed is 50, right? So, I would take a quarter of 50 to stand up.
Yep.
What is a quarter of 50?
You have
It's half of 25.
40 feet of movement.
40.
Yeah.
Let me do this one.
Let me.
I walk up to this one, sword knock in hand, draw, and then attack, which I can spend my panache as a swift action to flame him.
Okay, so so you're flame handing.
No, I'm flaming him.
What are you doing?
Fainting him?
Huh?
I'm doing a feint.
Oh, you're fainting him. Okay.
Like I have a thing that if I draw my sword, it's swift action.
Okay. So, is there a save for the feint, or is it a roll? It's a bluff check on your own.
It's my bluff check against their 10 plus whiz.
Okay. DC 10 here. Yeah, so you faint successfully.
My attack.
I'm sorry? That was your feint, right?
Yeah, I faint, so it's my attack.
That will hit.
Take shit down the game. Plus 9, plus 6, plus 10, plus 2d6.
Well, technically not dead until its rage expires, except it's unconscious, so its rage expires, it loses temporary hit points, it dies.
And that's all I can do this round.
Arias.
Roar! Let's go for this one, I think. Yep. That's axe and move up to there, because that's all I can move.
Okay. So this one charges towards Tonatium, frothing at the mouth.
Oh no, rabies.
Oh no.
And it swings a battle axe.
Bad touch!
And it swings a battle axe.
Oh
Does that hit?
I won.
For 12 damage.
No!
Let me move the wizard and guarded.
Why did you?
Oh, okay, ask Gladys.
Tonatium.
I'm trying to do maths here. No! No!
It's just one attack, you'll be fine.
He has like 30 HP.
Okay.
Like half of it already.
As you take a step back, it steps up.
He has step up.
Oh god.
Come on!
Hey, look at the bright side. He has 5 foot less movement next turn.
Actually, no, he can't do that because he's not adjacent to an ally. It's not step up, it's a different thing.
Oh, it's a different thing entirely.
Wand of magic missiles.
I assume at good old 47.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, the one that bitch smacked you.
It is slightly injured.
You have a stronger constant attack than you have.
I have stronger attacks, but I just don't want to use them here.
So this one takes a 5-foot step towards Urias and attacks.
Nope.
And attacks again.
I don't believe so. No, that hits my one.
Good news for you, that is not a critical hit. He rolled a 19
That would have been a critical me.
for 9 damage.
Okay.
As it steps forward, swinging the battle axe in front of you, roaring in Knoll, which you understand as it shouts praise to Yiggnathu. This one comes running towards Tonatium. First move, second move. It is adjacent to an ally, so it gets to use its immediate action to step up and make an attack.
Ah. This time I'm ready for them, though.
Yes. Run. Can't make, well, yes it can. It's adjacent to allies, so it can take its 5-foot step and make an attack as an immediate action.
Sorry. He rolled a 1.
And it drops its battle axe.
It drops its what?
Battle axe.
Ah.
Ooh, that's good for me.
There's now an axe on the floor. And finally, last but not least, Hyar.
These guys like rolling ones.
Its axe bounces off your armor, he loses its grip, and it ends up in the river. She's not getting her axe back. Let me mark these as not having axes. Dirk.
The lovely thing I can do now, he has got an arm. He can't make attacks of opportunity, so I'll slip.
Yeah, you slip in.
I slip in. First attack at Null Hunter, True 5-1.
Okay. That will hit. You moved, so you only get the one attack. Not that it doesn't kill them. Arias.
Oh, that gives me an opening.
Yeah.
I am going to hit the no 240 with my attack.
The one
First
that has
time.
an axe.
Yes.
That will hit. So that, for once, you don't insta-gib them.
Yes.
Yes. I imagine you have a second attack.
I remember that.
I imagine you have a second attack, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's more than the 4. Well, this gnoll here is going to attack. Actually, no, this gnoll here is going to take a 5-foot step that as a free action, then attack,
Not hitting.
and probably not hitting the second time either.
Nope.
And then, because it's now adjacent to an ally, it can make a 5-foot step and attack as an immediate action.
That will hit, but I will parry it. I will at least attempt to parry it.
Okay.
So if I roll at least a 7.
I love this feat. This feat is stupid.
I parry it, and I will actually spend my
Panache to
panache
riposte.
to riposte it. Yeah. So as I'm riposting it, you will notice that the plume on my hat will wilt down a bit as it loses its magic. So no, it's not like completely unmagical. It's once per day.
Okay.
I have to click that.
And considering this one's already damaged, yeah, you just it. So an attack. It swings. It thinks it's got an opening. It takes a step to bring the axe down, and you just like grab the axe with one hand and just slice the thing's head off.
I wish I had 3 panache, because I only had 1 panache, but I would have gained 2 from clicking and killing.
Donatium. You do not need to you don't need to 5-foot step. You're not threatened right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have a weapon, so he can't.
Yeah, she is currently unarmed.
Oh, okay.
Her weapon is on the ground.
I'll blast no Hunter 5.
Okay.
Then I'll go over here.
Well. No Hunter 5 will take a 5-foot step.
And I will step up.
This is what?
Where are you going?
Where do you think you're running?
Well, she was thinking of picking up that battle axe, but instead she's going to take the javelin off of her back and try to poke you with it. And this one will not even consider the battle axe. Javelin to Arias.
Nope.
Dirk.
Step up. First attack.
It's not quite as good as their pack attack, but you don't have to be adjacent. Huh?
Is there no way I can't kill this thing?
Your min damage kills it. Your min damage kills them at full health, and they're not at full health.
Dirk is strong, boy.
Arias.
Okay, let's hit 252.
Okay.
That is a crit threat.
Do you confirm?
Let's see.
So I'd like Tonatium to make a perception check. So Tonatium, each time one of these died, you saw the head of the statue on the ground's eyes flash red for a moment.
Wait. Guys, I think we might want to step back a little.
But once they're dead, nothing happens.
Detect magic?
You detect an aura of magic on this statue.
Spellcraft.
It seems that in a 30-foot radius around this statue, any creature that dies has its soul consumed by Yignathu, the demon prince that the Knolls worship.
Oh boy, we dodged a bullet there.
We dodged a bullet, as if those things would be able to kill us.
It could happen.
Dodge an arrow? I don't know. Horizon, could you heal this one up for me, please?
I will use my spell and heal you for just much.
Get a teeny little 1600 puny XP.
Thank you.
So, yeah, there's a trail that heads off into the jungle. I assume you're going to follow it? Who is going to be leading the way?
My survival is 0.
My survival is 0. Well, other than my wisdom.
Your wisdom is included.
I have a plus 2.
Plus 3.
So you're actually our best one. And you have a plus 2 because of the compass.
Yes.
What would have really helped was a freaking map.
Yeah, you do. You have the compass.
Doesn't look like it's been drawn by a child.
Yeah. Well, leading the way, would you make me a survival check to follow the map and the trail? It was a DC 10.
All you have to do is roll a 5.
Okay. So, as you wander for a while, would you roll a D4 for me? Okay, and a D100 twice. So, it takes you about 2 hours to realize that you've lost the trail, and you're not quite sure where you are.
No, this tree doesn't look familiar. Excuse me, I have knocked.
It's a survival check to find the trail again. Hello? Oh, he's gone. Okay.
The pups might be coming into the room soon, so...
Okay. It's a survival check to find the trail again.
A question, Kit.
Yep.
If I were to, fly up into the air to scout around on us?
Yeah, that you could do that to aid Tonatium and give him another +2.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Eh,
But it is tougher now because you don't have the trail. But with Dirk's help, Dirk flies up. Dirk can see the trail. You end up back on the trail following it. I'll need you to make... Let's see. It's going to be... It's okay. I'm going to need you to make... So it's been 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I assume you want to stop right before sundown?
probably.
So I'll need 4 more D100 checks as you follow the trail. Stop on that 3.
Oh.
That's I need a D100 because you're getting an encounter.
Well, you have that 94.
We'll leave those for what they are. You're only gonna have the one encounter. I just want the encounter
Okay, so
roll,
just one more D100.
so it can be cursed.
One D100.
Did you DM us, Tonatium?
Probably.
I'm gonna bring you back into here because it's the depths of the jungle, and so as you're walking along, I'd like you to all make perception checks.
Oh my god, that was gross.
This is not vision based. This is sound
Well, it's
based.
not vision based, so that's -2. So that's the 31.
You all notice the sounds of shh, yip, 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 yip.
More knolls.
Hey, can I understand what they're saying if they're talking?
Yes, they're like shh. We found the people who murdered the worshippers. Close in quietly. Use your bows.
I'm going to use a ward.
You have a surprise round.
Oh, we have surprise round?
You have surprise round.
I'm going to whisper a warning to Tonatium and slowly draw my glowing sword.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll ward everyone within. I'll at least within 5 feet radius have +3 to a deflection bonus.
Dirk.
Drawing my sword is a free action.
Yep.
How far are we? Not about 40. 60.
I'm sorry?
I'm just looking how far away they are.
40 to 50, depending on who. Okay. Initiative time. I'll just put them all on one initiative.
Oh, wait. This is it.
So the Knolls, yeah, they get to go first. And they all begin backing up as best they can in the difficult terrain of the jungle and fire their longbows at Dirk. With the exception of the one that's right up next to him.
None of them hitting.
The one that's right up next to you drops its bow, draws its battle axe, howls, and swings.
I will attempt to parry. parry.
You
I
parry.
will post.
Okay.
Quick that.
You crit and kill.
Yeah, I get my panache better. Just get back.
Arias.
Is there a difficult terrain here?
Yes, it is all difficult terrain.
Full round move. Okay.
Dirk, who can fly and is therefore not affected by the difficult terrain.
Wins.
God damn it.
I only have 2 panache. Can't regain anymore.
Donatium.
It looks like they got it. Looks like Dirk has this handled. No, I'll pass.
The gnolls are beginning to freak out. Orias can hear them chittering, "Oh God, it's a bird demon!" as they back up and fire their arrows at Dirk.
AC 24.
Orias. Oh great, they have to crit in order to hit you. Cool.
Yeah.
This just looks like a horror story to the gnomes.
Alright, that's all for me.
Dirk, who dies today?
You're next.
You know what I'm thinking of
Does.
now? You have become me, destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, Dirk has very much been a Tom character this entire time.
Hey.
His only
It's like I was like,
weakness is underground.
So roll damage.
Dirk has only been balanced out by the fact that he was underground for all those encounters, but now he is in his element.
I'm in my element, not underground.
It's not dead.
Yes.
Donatium.
Well, magic missiles. It now is.
Yes. It had 1 hit
It
point.
survives. I'm alive.
It had 1 hit point. So this gnoll is not actually going to look at Arias as it's going to continue backing away from the demon bird.
The demon bird.
They're like, "Whoa, we've made a bad decision. Run. Save us. Save us, gnoll demon daddy." Not saving them. Arias.
5-foot shifts.
The gnoll's eyes go wide like, as you like Jurassic Park Velociraptor clever girl this thing.
Wait, maybe I can use this thing as a... I'm going to try to hit it non-lethally.
Okay.
That's a -5, correct?
-4.
Okay.
You hit.
That's
Roll
a crit
damage.
threat.
That's a crit threat. That's a confirmation.
Okay.
Let's see if you accidentally kill this thing.
I don't want to.
Like 4 times his HP worth of
You
non
tried to just pump his head unconscious, but you snapped his neck.
Bonk.
Okay. You only deal 11 lethal damage after knocking it out.
Only.
Yeah, you knock it unconscious and there's a little blood trickling from its head. Dirk.
Charge! I'm actually going to charge this one.
Yeah, they're dead.
Where the hell were you two when I was in Shadow Room?
Up above ground.
Da 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 da.
And as Dirk flies back, he's gonna say, this is what I needed. I bet you that's not underground.
But yeah, you're now standing over the unconscious body of a Knoll hunter.
Hey.
I thought we might be able to use a guide.
4,000 each?
Oh, that's total.
Definitely not 4,000 for that.
Yeah, I should probably not even be giving you experience for these, but yeah. So I assume you awaken the Knoll hunter,
Yes.
whose eyes go wide and she starts screaming.
Yay!
Who are you, chosen of the slaughter god?
We need a guide. That's why I kept you alive.
Would you like to make an intimidate check?
Can I use diplomacy, it says, if I'm not trying to scare her?
You just said that's why I left you alive.
As Dirk leans over your shoulder.
Yeah.
God damn it, Jack! God damn it, Demon Man! This is not what I'm good at!
I think I stepped in something.
Intimidate. It's not great.
What are you two doing? I say as I just got back from opening a door.
She's like, oh, Kai can be guide. Kai can be guide.
Hey, brother, watch it! You're gonna fall! Oh, he got me right in the forearm.
I heard that too.
Yeah, that didn't sound nice.
Yay, Kai is now a PC. I have to keep the Knoll Hunter tab open forever now.
Now it's time to try to turn Kai to the lights, away from demon worship.
Yeah.
This is the no redemption arc.
So the next couple hours until sunset comes, you are uninhibited.
Uninhibited.
And you go to make camp. Are you keeping watches?
Yes.
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Tell him I said thanks.
Tonatium, would you make a perception check?
Of course it happens on my watch.
I want to get first watch.
You see Kai trying to sneak away.
I tried to save you and redeem you.
Did I see your eyes heal the Kai?
Yes, I would have told you that I was going to use this as a guide.
Yeah, you caught that whole thing. And Kai was a dutiful guide until everyone went to sleep, and then Kai's like, oh, I can sneak past this stupid wizard.
Mistakes were made.
Does Tonatium let Kai go?
I don't think I should let them live.
How much did you...
Obviously not going to get redeem themselves.
We need a guide. That's what I told you.
How
We
much?
need a guide through the
How
forest.
much did you heal Kai by? Her eyes when you woke her up, or did you just put one into her?
No. More than that.
Okay, so she's at full health as she's sneaking away. Everyone else is asleep. What does Tonatium do?
You know what? Owls. Actually, are they in range of that? I think they are.
Like tentacles.
I need to check something.
I got one flasher.
Yep. Yeah, 20 feet. They're in range.
Limplash. Dirk and Arias may make perception checks with a -10 penalty.
I don't think it's flat-footed. That touches him flat-footed.
That does not.
Uh-oh.
Both of you hear the sounds of Tonatium casting a spell and wake up. So it's initiative time, I guess, again.
That's what I'm wrong.
Nope, that missed. Why did the heard me yell out the spell?
Oh yeah. Donatium, you're up.
Unfortunately, I lost the spell by missing, so... I don't have anything else I could use to subdue them, I guess.
First time you've ever missed Limplash. Yeah, you cast a spell, it comes out, she turns and goes, ah, and ducks it.
Look, I know we can't speak the same language, but it's best that you probably get back to your spot.
Make an intimidate check. Dirk, you heard spell casting and then all of this as you're waking up on the floor.
I will stand up, draw my sword as a free action, point it towards Kai, and yell out, "If you don't stop moving, I'll kill you."
Make your intimidate check.
I have a bad intimidate. Not actually that intimidating.
Arias.
Can we all just calm down and talk about this, please? We don't have to fight. We just need a guide through the forest. If you guide us, we will let you live.
Ah, please don't kill me, Wizard Master.
Okay, Arias, but consider this. What if I do want to fight?
Kai's thrown herself at Tonatium's feet.
It's my biggest busy show.
She's surrendered.
Yes. She is surrendered to Tonatium. Turns out she wasn't actually that scared of you two.
I am a very fluffy bird.
Yeah.
Not intimidating at all.
But yeah, I guess with that you can resume sleep. I will need for Tony.
I suggest we punish them.
No, squirrel.
Take an ear.
Explain.
No, bad.
Your opinion's irrelevant.
Just you.
If you don't do it, I'll do it myself.
No, bad. Bad. We do not name.
Silence.
No, you don't get to say this. Bad.
Don't talk to Amelia like that. Tap him on the nose.
Look at what he's saying.
And that's how he always is.
No, I'm stepping in. We're having intervention here for the squirrel.
I'll roll the first hour's 1d100 for you. Okay.
Now, what do we say?
Disfigurement is a suitable punishment for disobedience.
No. No. Bad.
Not against it, to be honest.
Totally no.
Well, not completely against it.
Branding?
No. We talked about this and we worked through everything.
15 lashes.
don't have a whip. And I left the spiked chain back at home.
Why do you have a spike chain?
I got it from a bugbear once.
No!
You vampire.
And Noel is just looking at all of you in terror, especially at Tonatium and this red-eyed squirrel on his shoulder.
Dirk's asleep.
Dirk goes back to sleep, okay.
Can't we just work through this like rational people?
That is what is rationality? One would say it is the norms of the process at which the masses follow. What if that isn't actually rational thought at all?
No.
I'm going to assume this conflict goes on for another hour.
You attracted monsters towards the sketch shop, guys.
We're having a moment here. Shut up.
I'm asleep. I'm talking out of character.
No, it's like this is what we say to the monsters. We're dealing with this right now. Shut up. Come back later.
We're dealing with this right now.
Oh, you have no idea how happy I am.
Why are you happy?
Oh, is it what I think? Is it what I hope it is? I hope it is what I hope it is.
You're a demon.
I'm not that happy.
Better be what I hope it is.
You have a holder?
No, that's not what I'm hoping for. That's not what I'm hoping for at all. I'm not prepared.
Hey, I guess we get to meet his statue artists now, earlier than we expected.
So, Kai has gone to bed with Dirk, as the two of you are out there arguing.
I have a cuddle buddy.
I would like you to make perception checks, Tonatium and Arias. Let's say at -2 because you're arguing with one another.
Okay, Dragonrock, have a perception check too, with the same penalty.
And okay then. Let me review how this works exactly.
Did Kai, like, climb into my hanging tent with me?
Kai is curled up on the floor beneath you. Oh god, Kai is curled up on the floor beneath you. Oh god. Yes. Oh no.
What?
Yes! It's not what I think it is, but now I want something to happen.
So you hear rustling in the bushes, kind of to your southwest, as you see Kai vanish, a splatter of blood where she was lying before.
Oh god.
It's
That was
initiative.
not me.
It's initiative.
Was he not well because I'm asleep?
You make a perception check -10 because you're asleep.
Well, that's 4.
The sound of that woke you up, but you are in your hanging tent.
Yes. I will draw my sword as part of it. That's part of initiative.
Okay. So 28, 15, 11, and you end. Okay. So Dirk.
I will wrap out of my tent and look around.
Make a perception check. You can see them. in the undergrowth.
That's exactly what I wanted.
I'm Mega Round.
Okay,
Not exactly what I was wanting, but it's close enough.
I'm gonna give them token art. No, it doesn't let me give them token art. Okay. Yeah. Let me copy the image into Discord then. Because come on now, it's a Mega Raptor.
As a big boy.
He's gonna come give us hugs.
I already have a guy.
Yeah.
We should all be its food.
You can see it's eating Kai, who is very dead.
Oh, there's two of them.
Yes. And that one up there is very quietly sneaking towards the still arguing Tonatium and Arias,
Because I'm here.
who are completely oblivious to it.
So
Alright.
my move action.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
How much? I don't think I have much action. I moved and I looked around.
Yeah, that's right, you're done. You took your move in action. So yeah, Arias, you're not aware of these, but you heard noise here and you see a blood splatter.
I'm going to rush over towards the blood spatter noise.
Okay.
I'm going to see, can I see anything?
Make a perception check. No.
Everything you see is me with my sword.
Oh yeah, besides Dirk, who's hopped out of the thing, has sword drawn and is looking around like something dangerous is here.
Derek, is everything okay?
You do not get an attack opportunity, Dirk. You're up in the air. Out of the underbrush it bursts, leaping towards you, pouncing. No attack. You're in the air. Stop. As it gets its talon and its bite and its claws in its great big attack. Does any of that hit?
Am I flat-footed?
You are.
That's the first one.
First and third hit me.
Okay. So it claws you once. So as it leaps towards you, one of its long curved claws on its hind legs latches into you and it bites down on your shoulder. For a total of 28 damage.
Ow! That stings.
The thing about it is you being flat-footed isn't that hard. It isn't that bad for you because you're full of heavy plate armor.
Yeah.
It's bad for me because all my AC is coming from my decks.
Tonatium, you are now aware of Raptor 224.
Oh. Gotta watch my language. My parents are close by.
It's like the Dionysus that hurt you previously, but bigger.
Oh, no.
You also don't know there's one behind you.
Yeah, you're not aware of the one behind. He's not aware of the one behind him.
Like, we'll get close enough to ward. You now have plus D2 deflection. AC.
Oh, and you've just moved out of its ability to charge you. It continues to creep towards you. Apparently ready to just strike. So it actually gets right up there, but it can't make its attack. Dirk. You see this thing right behind Tonatium.
Look out!
Get down!
Sadly, not a quick threat.
Will hit.
That would one less than I needed to get a grip.
As you strike the raptor.
Well, it lasts for 5 rounds, so...
Arias.
What do we want to do here? Let's just go after the threat of trying to eat me. I don't want to be eaten.
That will hit. Okay.
I'll go for one more.
You do. That will also hit. You strike it twice and it howls out. And not being stupid and being an animal, it's going to it's going to make a morale check. No, it's going to fail a morale check. It's like, well, this is not the easy meal I thought it would be, and it attempts to run away. Does Arias permit it to run away?
Yes.
Okay, so it goes, it grabs the corpse of Kai, and it starts moving away as best it can. There we go. Donatium. Dirk just came out of behind you, skewered this creature behind you that was just about to bite down on you.
Holy shit. Holy shit. As I quick step away from it. And you know what? And I do not get that today, so I already used item. You know what? Out of panic, I'm gonna cast Burning Hands on 64.
Okay.
Please do not call it the force fire.
You can avoid Dirk with it.
As we end up summoning Smokey the Bear, who tries to eat us all.
So it needs to make a reflex save.
Yay, reflex save. It did not evade.
No.
It is like full burning damage. Not wait.
8 fire damage.
Well, your magic missile would have been better, probably.
Well, there's a side effect of this. Because it's 15 feet, right?
Yep, 50 foot cone. You burning hands in the middle of a crowded jungle.
That is now on fire.
Oops.
It is not on fire. It is going to go, oh shit, the forest is on fire, and attempt to flee. Does Dirk permit it?
No.
Make your attack. Of opportunity.
I'm
Well, so number 1, it is going to get away.
2 plus 6.
And number 2,
I don't know why you're laughing at it, Todd. You're right next to me.
I'm laughing, but then I just realized and went, uh-oh.
you drop your weapon in the fire.
Oh. No, this is a magic flaming weapon already.
Yes, but it doesn't mean you now need to go into the fire to get your weapon. Dirk.
I can go get it. You have fire, so I can go get it.
I have fire resistance, I have energy absorption.
Yeah, go get it.
Do you want to stand right next to the fire, Dirk?
Don't you have something that can put this out?
No.
Thought you did.
No.
You cause the fire, go get it.
Arias, what do you do?
Don't divine spellcasters usually have great water or something?
It's a level 1 spell. I didn't prepare it.
It's not your turn yet, Donatium. The fire.
There's not much I can do right now. I'm just gonna hold my action for right now.
Oh, there's arson! Alright.
Okay, so
Not for a paladin.
gets away.
We don't get those.
Yeah, paladins don't get origins.
So right before Tonatium's turn, all the trees around it need to make their save versus catching fire. They succeed. The fire does not spread. Tonatium.
Fine. I'll grab the goddamn sword.
Okay, you get the sword. The raptor gets even further away.
And I'm going to leave the fire.
Dirk, you have a sword now.
I recommend not touching it. It's kind of hot.
The fire is the sword is cold to the touch.
Yeah.
I will turn the flaming off on it and start, like, trying to, like, keep the fire contained by cutting foliage away from the edge.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna make a couple of fire checks and we'll see whether that seems like it's gonna work. Yeah. So it turns out everything's damp, the fire's not spreading very well, but the fire does eventually get put out as you manage to contain it. You do not start a fire. You do not start a fire. And both Megaraptors got away.
I'm surprised
So the question.
you let their raptor get away with Kai after all that speech. Oh, she could be redeemed. She's useful.
That's why I was. That's why when I remembered you had hanging tents, I went, oh no.
I'm just gonna walk over and slap both of them. Stop arguing. Go back to bed.
So yeah, do you want to continue camping in this spot?
The fire that just happens more likely going to not, or like scare off most of the animals in the area.
Okay.
The gnolls. Gnolls will probably be attracted to the fire.
Well, so it's now been the first watch at this point.
I'm going to bed. I don't want to argue with Boreas anymore.
I think Dirk will take second watch.
I'll take last.
So I'll need Dirk to make 4 D100 rolls. Because this chance persists overnight even.
Oh. You're gonna become raptor food.
Would Arias please make 4 D100 rolls for Arias's watch?
There's only a 10% chance.
It's only a 10% chance.
Oh, so you can only roll a 10 or lower. Don't roll 10 or lower.
Yeah, we got this.
He got this as he rolled a 19.
So during each of your watches, you can see, creatures come near the camp and don't mess with it. Like, it's not like, oh, everything is silent. There's the sounds of creatures. At one point, Dirk makes eye contact with a panther that is like sitting in a tree right above Tonatium's hanging tent, trying to decide if it's worth the trouble before it slinks off into the night.
Food. You could be food.
You hear the Tyrannosaurus roar in the distance. It's not a comfortable night.
I should play Monster Hunter World again sometime.
We're okay, right? Right?
So, next day.
Well, we no longer have a guide.
Your guide got taken by a raptor.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Kai, we named you.
She made a good snack for those raptors.
They'll be missed.
The way you said it sounded like she won't be missed at all.
Exactly.
So, Whoever's leading the way, please make a survival check.
Go ahead.
Dirk, could you fly up and help us navigate again?
Yeah, sure.
You make it.
Only because it helps you, because if it's a DC 10, you would have once again failed.
So I'm going to need 2 D100 rolls.
Alright then.
Okay. So as you travel along, you find your way, and you see something that seems like a really large stone with a small hole in it. And as you come close, you smell rot and decay.
Detect evil.
You detect no evil.
Dirk's gonna immediately stealth.
This can't be it, can it? Oh, did that say no path on the thing?
Yes. You have been and as you're walking, you begin to realize that this path is like a path that gnolls follow. This is like a hunting path.
But did we miss home when we got lost, or should we be... Is this home or is this the round cave?
You don't think you've been going far enough to get to the round cave yet.
So I must be home. I suggest we proceed with caution.
Yes, Dirk has already been stealthed and walking ahead.
Chink, 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 chink,
But
chink.
yeah, there's a smell of rot and decay inside of the cave.
Shall we head into the cave?
I'd rather not. Let me just prep what spells that I've lost. I don't know why I prepped that spell, but I did it anyway.
I may walk a little bit closer to the cave, try to look inside of it.
Okay. You can look inside. You can look inside the cave.
I have dark vision, 120 feet, I believe.
Yes, you
Not
do.
even stealthed.
Oh!
You can see the rotting remains of a giant in the cave, like massive sword wounds across its chest. You may also make a perception check.
Okay.
You can also see the creature behind it that is sitting, kind of gnawing on a piece of wood.
That is a better boy.
There's a big boy.
Nature, not nature, the creature.
Keep in mind, Kip, that Tom just walked straight up to the cave, not stealthing and heavy on it.
Yes. And the creature is looking back at you, Arias. Tonatium, you know that forest sloths are generally nocturnal. They're brachythians, so they like to crawl up trees and go from tree to tree. They're large, they're carnivorous, and they're territorial.
Uh-oh.
Oh, nice.
Territorial, that is the key word.
Territory. Mario, carnivorous beast. Clunk, 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 clunk.
Hi, friends.
It kind of starts crawling around this rotting ogre, looking at you.
Just go away. You'll be fine.
I'm just gonna take a slow step back from it. Very slowly.
Don't show aggression. Just slowly move and back off. So over here into this foliage.
Yeah, since you don't go into the cave, it doesn't bother you. Don't worry about that 18. I'm just doing some side math. Yeah.
Doesn't look like there's much in that cave anyway.
Yeah.
Do we want to keep going?
I'd rather not get into unnecessary fights if it can be helped.
I see no reason to check the giant rotting corpse of a guy.
It's just like, get away. Leave me alone. I want to sleep. But yeah, you can get out and go on your way without any more problem. Da, 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 da. Farewell, treasure. You don't get it because you didn't go in the cave.
What was the treasure?
You'll never know.
Oh.
So, to finish this math,
We were lucky it was probably half asleep when we encountered it. If it was further awake, it probably would have taken us more kindly.
so it's going to be about 10 more hours on this trail before you get where you're going. You don't know that yet, of course. The trail, from this point on, the trail becomes much easier to travel. It's much more clear. You don't need to make any checks to follow it. But as you're walking, you get the awareness, this is not just a null trail anymore. This is a game trail. So I need you to make the same checks. So there's going to be 10 of them. The risk of an encounter is higher. So who wants to make your checks for those 9? 10, excuse me.
Got it.
Okay.
Not it.
Okay, sure, I'm going.
Okay. Do them one at a time. Oh. Oh. Fucking hell. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Did we just let Mal do us all?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
To be fair, you've gained quite a few levels since last time you saw one of these.
Only one of these?
2 of these. And they are not stealthy.
No.
You're a dragon, I swear to God, get.
No, I don't think it's a dragon.
The dragon is the only thing I can think of I've seen exactly 2 of.
There's something else, but Dirk wouldn't see it. Elias wouldn't have seen it. Oh, he has definitely seen it.
What the fuck? Oh no, kid. Do not do.
As you just begin to walk from the cave, you see 2 things almost strolling down the path towards you. They look like people at first until you see they're emaciated and worms crawl in and out of their eyes and skin.
This is something Dirk has seen.
I'm sorry?
This is something that Dirk has seen, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. But I was thinking of something else. I was thinking like those velociraptors that ambushed us on horses, but no, this is much worse.
4 or 5.
This is much worse. Which is why I'm going to panic and fireball!
Yeah, Tom, this is the thing that killed Turtle.
Let's roll initiative real quick. It's,
Look at that GPU, Tom. This is the things that killed Turtle. I don't know the exact same numbers for both of them.
yeah, well, you guys go first because,
It's Tom, me, one of them. Tony T, and another one of them.
yeah. So yeah, Arias, you see what are clearly two undead. They look just like zombies with worms on them. You don't know what they are. You've never seen them before. You see Tonatium has a look of absolute terror you've never seen before.
So much better.
So does Dirk. Yeah, they look
I'm
horrifying.
going to draw my sword as light-filled forest.
Yep. You add your daylight to the bright daylight of the midday.
Yep. And I'm going to pause my action and look at Tony and going, what are these things? Please advise.
You're not close enough to have that effect. Dirk.
I'm gonna walk in front of Tony T and take a full defense of that.
So that one is going to kind of tap the other on the shoulder and point to you, making it very clear, if you weren't aware before, that these are intelligent. And they will walk towards you. The one here that's leading the way, actually, so that one won't have moved yet, has actually got its hand up and it's waving at you. Donatium.
Nope, not risking it. Yep, they're in the radius. Donatium's panicking.
What's the radius?
30 feet, I believe. Fireball.
Fireball!
Fireball. Donatium, more fire. In the forest.
Oh wait, it's 20 feet radius spread. Not as bad.
Yeah. In fact, that's going to keep from starting forest fires. Good job. I'm going to remove you because you're not actually there.
Oh, make reflex saves.
Both make reflex saves. Yes, they do. Thank you for reminding me.
One save.
Yeah, the one further back saves.
The one further back takes half.
Yes.
Unless it has a evasion for some reason.
It does not have evasion.
Tony just screams as he does this.
So that's going to be 26. 27. That one there stops, shrugs, and walks towards you and throws a worm at Tonatium. Missing.
I'm gonna work hard.
Arias.
Charge this thing.
You've come close enough, Arias. I need you to make a will save.
Is it fear?
Yes.
I'm immune.
So you are. Okay.
Paladin!
That will hit. This is a melee attack.
Yes.
Okay. So that will deal its damage. Is your weapon silver?
No.
What's the plus on your weapon?
+1.
Okay, so that will be...
I'm not using anything right now.
That will just be that then. And I need you to make a reflex save as you slice it and worms kind of start crawling up your sword.
Oh. Okay.
you manage to whip it away and get any worms off the sword. Dirk.
Dirk's not getting close. Dirk will stand and protect Tonatiuh.
Tonatiuh.
You know, he would. He's panicking at this. Wait, let me just check how this works since I never haven't actually used this.
Hey, go get some food real quick.
Arias doesn't know what danger he's put himself in.
Oh, I need to have 2 targets for that, which means the others, it would have been more appropriate to use it previously. Oh well. Okay, in that case, Lightning Spear, the Agent of Q's.
Okay.
Yes.
Reflex save.
Yep. Does not say.
Takes the damage.
Give it the damage.
I haven't actually used damaging spells in a long while.
Tom, you have no idea what you got in character.
Yes.
I have no idea what these things are.
You don't kill
Fireball
it.
appears. Oh, a smaller fireball appears upon this. Ends on the spawn of Q's and deals 12 damage.
And doesn't kill it. So here's the big question. Arias, does 19 touch you?
Fuck! Not touch! Not touch! Yes, it does.
Okay. It just comes, the creature just turns to you, plucks a worm from its eye, and puts it on your cheek. Arias, what do you do?
Can I try to pull the worm off?
Heal!
Yeah,
Lay on hands myself?
the worm withers.
I can cure disease and curses with it.
The worm withers and goes away.
The worm's a parasite that gets harmed by negative energy. By positive energy.
Oh, okay. That was a swift action.
Yes.
Like as soon as Orias got touched by the worm, he just hear Tony scream out, "Heal!"
I'm going to reach out and touch it.
Okay. You touch
And
it?
use my,
What's that?
this is my, lay on hands on it.
Okay. The worms all wither and fall from its flesh.
Fuck you, undead.
So it actually doesn't do it any damage at that time because of its effect, but it is now just a zombie. Yeah, and you can see, like, this creature that was intelligent just stops and starts going as all the worms fall away. Dirk.
No, it's not time. What's your charge?
Oh.
I just thought it might be, vulnerable to positive energy.
Cure, remove disease. So actually, what the reason that worked is because you can cure disease with it. Doing that irrevocably turns it into a regular zombie.
So what those worms do, Tom? They'll burrow into your skin, crawl up to your head, and eat your brain.
Oh!
That's how Kirby died.
And then you turn into one of them.
Yes.
That's pleasant.
So yeah,
The thing is, it's fast acting, so it's not like you can go into town and like say, I feel funny.
Yeah.
No, you got like a minute at best.
it does 1d4. It takes 1d4 rounds to crawl to your brain, and then during that time, it can be killed with remove disease or remove curse. Once it hits the brain, it can't be healed anymore. And it deals 1d6 intelligence per round until you die.
Oh.
Yeah. Now you know how we lost Turbo.
Yeah.
It almost became a TPK.
And the second both of the spawns are dead, they're just gonna grab Elias and start looking all over.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
That was way too close.
I guess I'm not a very good matchup for these things.
No one is.
No, I mean, I could just destroy their worms.
Oh. Yeah, that actually removes a lot of the pressure.
So are we ready to continue on the way?
Yep.
Another 8 or 9? Yeah, another 9 checks.
8 checks. There's 8 more hours remaining.
Roll it again. More.
Continue. Continue.
And we're
Oh.
counting. I swear to God, kid. Stop rolling like the ones that make you laugh.
It'll be fine.
I'm not even going to bother with this because you're going to kick their ass so easily. It's those same ones from that first trip to the Lucky Monkey Tavern. Only now you know what you're doing. They can't hit you. They die.
They literally can't hit me.
No, they have a +5 to hit.
Well, they can't hit. They credit.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They've got 20 hit points +5 to hit.
And do a flat, like, 22.
Yeah, they were terrifying when you were level 2. They're not terrifying anymore. But yeah, R.I.P. Dionysus.
You see, those are the ones I thought was going to happen with instead of the Spawn of Kiss, but...
Yeah. So, speaking of, I need to give you XP for the Spawn of Caius.
But yeah, that one had me panicky.
So that's 1,066 XP each for the Spawn of Caius. And we're just not going to worry about the Dionychus at all. So yeah, we got 4 more hours.
Calculate sperm.
We got 4 more hours until you reach where before you think you get to where you're going. So 4 more rolls.
Another encounter.
I'll let you roll this one.
Another D100?
Yes.
Same one we just got. No, it's 4 less.
That's Knowles again. That's a lot of Knowles. We're not even going to bother with it. You see a hunting party of Knowles coming up, and they're like, nope, we don't want any part of this, and they GTFO.
So 3 more rolls.
About Dirk the murder bird.
Yep.
The second coming.
There we go. That's what I want to see. Give me another D100. Please roll. You know what? I'm just going to pick because I wanted this to happen. So it's going to happen.
Oh, God.
Feel like you're getting close to where you want to be. The air seems to be changing, becoming sort of impure. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and move you to a new map for this one, because you are very nearly there. I need to make tokens for this because I didn't make any of these tokens for some reason. But yeah, you may make perception checks if you like while I do this.
Sight-based or no?
Sight-based, yes. Okay, and then one more token. And then I'll make the stealth checks. Okay. So these two have that stealth. So as you're approaching, it's kind of you're in kind of these ruins that are overgrown, but you can see these two attempting to hide there. And last but not least,
oh, actual demon.
You don't see them. I see them.
No, I'm like out of character as actually because there's something important about my character that
I wouldn't see them out. The last one.
okay, but yeah.
Too distracted by the other two.
You see these two red things hiding behind the walls with little spears, with these long spears.
I'm gonna stop both Arise and Chunk Team and fight them out.
This will be initiative, of course.
Draw my sword as part of initiative.
Kit, the demons know.
They do. So let's see. We have 6 for that, 20 for that. Arias, are you going to roll initiative?
It's alright.
So yeah, Dirk.
Line charge.
You hit the wall.
It's kind of on top of the wall, so yeah, that's right into it.
Squirt that.
It's a confirmation.
Sweet. I'm assuming it's resistant to fire damage? The fire damage multiplied. That's just the 1d6.
Yep. It is resistant to fire.
I get potential areas, I think, if I roll max on it. So I'll roll without fire damage and then roll fire damage with it. That's my non-fire damage.
Okay, so that's 16.
Not fire.
So we take 16 damage.
That's resistant.
Yes. You swing into this creature because your weapon is not good or cold iron.
No, it's just magic.
Yeah, and it's +1, right?
Plus
Plus what?
1.
Yeah. So yeah, you come at this thing, and there's this loud ringing as you strike into its skin, and it's like pushing into iron. Arias.
Let's see. I can't charge, can I, this way?
You can, but it'll be on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
It's like on the wall, kind of leaning over it.
Full round run towards this one. I'm going to smite evil it.
Okay. The demon is not looking at you, Dirk. It's looking at Tonatium. And it growls out in common. Scion of Spell Mason. And,
Oh. Teleport.
that's its action.
Oh, what was my plan I was going to do?
Nice doing it, OGM.
And this one here that you've smited does the same.
Son of a bitch!
They seemed to, like, they were looking at all of you, and the second they saw Tonatium, you saw them grow angry. Tonatium.
Bye, OGM. Shoot.
This isn't good.
No. No, it is not.
I'll 5 foot shift here
Okay.
and attempt. I will attempt to cast shield on myself.
Okay. It will go at you with its claw. Missing.
Oh, thank God.
Dirk.
You're just gonna charge once again, shouting your fights with me.
That will hit.
There's no hit. Oh. Last attack was a crit. I forgot about that.
Oh. We'll just double that initial
Yeah, double that damage.
damage, which will give it actually another...
Actually, not double damage entirely.
I'll just...
Only
There we
double
go.
the,
It's hurt.
9.
It's hurt. It's much more hurt than it was before.
Yeah. This one's just a normal attack. 8 plus 9 plus 10. And then the 1d6 fire.
Okay. Orias.
Run. That's all.
This demon will turn to you, Dirk, and say, "Puny bird." And we'll make a full round attack. So that's going to be claw, bite.
I will parry the one that only attack it.
These are rolling so terribly.
Rolled a 1.
Yeah, one of them's a 1, so
Oh.
before that, let's see if it even gets to make its last attack. As it ends up... Oh, it's immune to that, so it's fine.
So I still have to parry the last attack.
Yeah. It would have torn its muscle if it weren't immune to that.
Not parrying it.
You
So
do
it's
not parry it. So it claws at you, and as it grabs your sword, it comes, as you block it, it grabs your sword, pulls itself up, and latches its teeth into your neck. And just to double check.
Oh.
Oh, that last one's a crit threat. Let's roll to confirm that crit threat.
Yeah, that's good.
tears out your throat.
As it bites into your throat with its teeth for 14 damage.
No, that's not that much.
And
Oh,
you need to make a
Sorry,
reflex
guys.
save. And you need to make a reflex save.
reflex. Oh, there's some good of those.
You got this.
You do not take another 5 acid damage.
Oh, I'll have a bonus on that too.
Yeah.
I have a bonus against acid saves.
Okay, then. Darkness rolls over the area. Within that kind of darker area is all pitch black now.
Otherwise, there's sword around.
Yeah, mine's a daylight spell.
Yes. So I need to double check if that dispels this.
Whatever is higher.
It does indeed. So darkness starts rolling through, your light shines more brightly. And, no.
You're short of point.
So that's that one's action.
What'd you say?
I said, you're sort of hilarious.
As the demon turns to Tonatium and attacks, claw bite.
Thank goodness I put up that shield. Only one hits.
Okay, one of the claws gets through. For 9 damage. As it just says, vengeance will be ours. Spell Mason spawn.
Like it's shift. And I will cast the lightning arc between Damien 88 and 73.
Okay.
They both need a reflex save.
They don't. The lightning arcs between them. And it has no effect.
What?
Are they immune to lightning damage?
They're immune to electric damage.
How are they only resistant to fire, but are completely immune to it?
Dirk.
Full attack.
Okay. That will hit, yes.
Yeah, this is fire. Not getting fire damage. And then second attack. The second attack. Modifier plus 15.
That will hit.
What's that?
That will confirm.
Nice. 2d8 plus 18.
Yep, so you will deal more than 17 damage. So as you strike it, it just looks at you and says, "Fear me, mortal," as it dissolves away. Brias.
I must freaking shank this motherfucker.
With your smite hail.
That will hit, yes. Is that the damage?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's right. This guy's smited, so that
And
means
it's,
it bypasses the
outside.
damage resistance.
Yeah, it's an outsider.
So I get the 2 times my level on damage.
Yep. So that will be. I'm trying to figure. Why am I doing math? I have a calculator. That's ouchie ouch. Yeah. Second attack then.
Yep.
Second, first, same as the first.
That does not hit.
Oh, that's not one though. As I accidentally stabbed
actually, isn't it?
That's a 2, thank God.
So Arias and Tona, no, just Arias. Arias, you will take 1 damage, no save.
What?
You would take 1 damage, no save. Fortunately, you're immune to disease, so that's all that happens. From that,
I'm really curious what happened.
at this point, you can see as it comes out from hiding behind the wall.
Whoa, it's an actual bird demon.
And it reaches for Arias' sword.
No.
Does 33 beat your combat maneuver defense?
Yes.
It reaches down, wrenches your sword from you, and slams it into the ground, into the ground, burying the blade.
Oh god, now the darkness can happen.
And now the thick darkness is there again.
I can't see in the dark.
Don't worry, I have a spell for this.
This is of the dark vision helps you variety though, so you can still see them, Arias.
Okay.
As it takes its 5-foot step over here and attempts to attack you. Arias.
Okay.
So claw, bite.
Mm-hmm.
Claw, bite.
First one hits.
First one's a crit threat.
That confirms.
So that's going to be 2d6 plus 5 plus the sneak attack damage.
Thankfully, sneak attack double.
So 18 damage
Ow.
and a reflex save from Arias.
Okay, reflex save.
And another 6 acid damage.
Ow.
As you can feel that its skin is coated with this viscous ooze. Donatium, you can't see. It's dark.
Took a 5-foot step away from
Everything.
here.
Okay.
And dispel magic the darkness.
Make your check. You dispel the darkness. Dirk.
I push it upward and attacking.
That will hit.
Just a normal.
Okay. Everyone's quiet. Arias.
I'm going to extend my hand and summon a light lance to my hand using my spell.
You have a light lance.
And it's standard action to create it though.
Yes.
And
it's a spell,
yes.
so it provokes an attack of opportunity.
Oh fuck. Yep, it does. Bring it, bitches.
You not want to do it for shit?
Nope.
Is it better you lose the spell, but I have to make the concentration check for?
Nope.
Gosh darn it, why am I rolling so badly today? But yeah, the big bird tries to strike you, and so does the little red creature.
Not a big bird can hit.
The little creature hit.
Oh, I thought that was reversed. No, both of them will hit me.
Oh, both of them will hit you.
Not the first one was the demon.
The demon wouldn't hit him because he gets smite.
So the bird demon. The bird demon does hit.
The bird will hit me since I'm not smiting it.
Okay, the bird will do. $17 damage. Our demon does not critically hit you.
Nope.
So it's only going to be 9 damage.
Do I have to make a reflex save again?
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
For 6 more. So in total, for your math being simple, this round you just took 32 damage.
And I lost my spell.
You get to make a concentration check. DC 45?
I can't make that.
You lost your spell. So yeah, you start casting your spell and you get struck by talons and it dissolves.
Can I try to pull my sword out of the ground?
It's over here. They've already used their attacks of opportunity.
Yeah,
but I won't be able to. I won't protect Genetium. I can try something else.
The bird demon lifts itself up, and in your mind, the back of your mind, Tonatium, you hear its voice. Death awaits you, last spawn, and then we march.
What?
And then this demon goes for Arias. Donatium.
This is bad. God, I don't have that. Shoot. I'll just have to magic missile 88.
Okay. Is magic missile subject to spell resistance?
I believe so.
Make your caster level check.
I'll just look at it fast. I'm not doing well on these spellcaster levels.
You cast the magic missiles and they dissolve as they approach it. Dirk.
On attack. And this is flanking, right? Like with Arias?
Yes, you are flanking with Arias.
Nice.
That will hit.
That's not a quick time. Well, not.
That is enough.
Fire.
That is enough to make this one dissolve as well. I'll get you and your little bird too.
No, I'm the taller.
Da 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 da.
As I go to check on my wounds, I realize they're a lot deeper than they should have been.
Well, that's right. You take extra damage, don't you?
Yep, just like 1 extra damage, but still.
Yes.
And they also have a +1 to attack.
I don't think it came into play there. But yeah, 1,600 XP each for that. You don't get the XP for the bird demon yet.
No, he's not done with us.
Yet. I'm gonna go over and get my sword.
But yeah, you are in these ruins, pretty much where you were expecting to be. These very old, very moss-eaten ruins.
Did we skip the round cave?
So the entire area you're at seems to have writing no longer legible because of time, but it looks like it was once of the same caliber as was written on that plate that you have.
Alright, do you have any more healing?
Yeah, I have a lot. I'm going to channel energy and heal us all.
Okay.
For that much, and I'm going to do it one more time.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm full healed.
Each of you may make a perception check.
Sound.
Sound.
Oh, that would have been. Yeah, 6. Doesn't matter much anyway.
Dirk, as you're getting healed, you hear the fluttering of large wings. And the wildlife that has been, even during the demon attack, going loudly, just goes silent.
That's not good.
I assume you draw a sword, initiative, all that.
Oh god.
Let's do initiative here, because maybe that will have effects.
Yeah, that's my initiative check right there.
Initiative.
Oh, he was before me.
Which means the initiative won't matter, because, well, maybe not, as walking out is a beautiful woman. A woman with perfectly white skin, stern, sparkling eyes of silver, and a pair of feathered wings that spread out behind her back. As she steps out, she raises up a flaming sword, not with fire like yours, but with white flame running along it, that glows with a daylight even stronger than Arias's. As she walks forward, she looks towards Tonatium and then towards Dirk and then towards Arias. And as she looks at Arias, she begins to frown. And she says, "Corruption already takes the scion," and vanishes. Because Arias detects as evil. You don't get a lore dump because Arias tests as evil.
What that was about.
But yeah.
Who was that?
I suppose you can make a knowledge planes check.
Oh, she doesn't like Arias.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize, Tonatium, that was a Modonic Deva, a messenger of heaven.
Goddamn, Hellor, why didn't you tell them about me? It's like, you're going to send an angel. Let them know there's a paladin who detects this for you, but is it really that hard to send a memo?
Well, perhaps you could try praying to him tonight and telling him that. But what would they have to do with us?
At about that moment, there's another flutter of wings as she arrives and goes, I was informed that that is a curse. My apologies. She steps forward and kneels before Tonatium.
Huh?
You're certainly a popular guy here, Tim.
She lifts her eyes again and looks at you, Tonatium, and says, Powerful forces of chaos and evil are afoot. I dare not remain here long, lest my presence attract the attention of those forces. But I could not sit by and watch as the last scion of Surabar marched into danger without warning you. The Lord of the Demon Scar knows of your approach, and even now his minions prepare for your arrival. They shall use deceit and treachery against you, just as they have done with Alec Tercival before you.
Alec Tercival?
You know Alec you're looking for him.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that.
She nods.
So he was here?
She nods. Alec Tercival must be saved. You must remain resolute. I have no aid to offer you now but knowledge. I offered in ages past your forebearer, Surabar Spellmason, with a powerful weapon to assist him in his conflict with the Lord of the Demon Scar. This was Alicast, a quarterstaff born of the undying hatred heaven holds of fiends from the outer rifts. Alas, Alicast fell dormant and was stolen from the Spellmason's tomb. Do not despair, for it is fated that Alicast shall be wielded again by the last scion of Surabar against the Lord of the Demon Scar. It has found its way to you, and all that needs be done is that you claim it. It rests now in the lair of my false sisters, beyond the watchful eyes of the north. That's all I'm at liberty to say. I wish you well in your travels, in your travails, heroes. Never lose sight of your goals. And she flutters away, and as she does, oh come on, where I accidentally deleted it. I am so bad at everything. And as she does, that round circle in the middle there rolls backwards, as it was a door, revealing a well. Oh, come on. Put it where I told you to put it, game. There you go. And that seems like a great place to stop for the session, right?
Yep. I guess now we know for sure. Like in character, we all know for sure.
Yes. Tonatium is the last scion of Surabar Spellmason. And there's the round cave.
And there's the round. Okay.
Whew.
Caves are well.
How do you feel about this?
We'll be okay.
Well, like, Tonatium had suspicions, but at least now it's confirmed.
They're getting a power boost.
Even Dirk will know who Sewer Bar Spellmason is. Orias might not. Dirk will.
Yay, lore.
Yay, lore. I think for preview, I should. Yeah, but yeah. How you feel?
Tonatium is not prepared for all this. Despite more or less having a heads up. Especially since the fight of the demon was not going so well.
Yeah. Good hours.
Yeah. It just seems like you were going really well because the highest CR of what you fought earlier in the day was 3. Yeah. Those Mega Raptors. Actually, the Mega Raptors were CR5, but still, yeah. You were fighting mooks, and then you encountered what would be a hard encounter. It was 2 CR7s and a CR9.
Yeah. That would be level appropriate. Well, at least a lot closer.
Yeah, that was, you encountered a level appropriate encounter for the first time in ages.
I think my issue was I rolled badly on my casting level, and the one attack spell that I tried really hard to use, they were immune to.
Yeah.
It's so kind of true that they're immune to electricity, but they can possibly be damaged by.
Yes, they can possibly be damaged by fire if you roll more than a 10.
Oh, so my fireballs would have done nothing.
No, they wouldn't have done anything.
If I rolled more than a 10, and my caster level is 10.
Yeah, for fire.
Oh, for fire? Well, a fireball could have easily. I have to roll 1s on my fireball stuff for it to do nothing.
I loved seeing the spawn of Caius again.
That was scary. I mean,
I'm good against them.
I mean, you were probably equipped to deal with him this time, but
And you know to like swat it when it's on your skin because you have that round before it goes in that you can just kill it.
yeah.
But if you don't know that, who did you?
And we didn't know that because I also rolled badly on my knowledge of religion.
Yes. And you opted not to cut Turvu's arm off.
One of the more traumatizing experiences of Tonatium's life.
One of those traumatizing experiences. Watching your friend's brain get eaten right in front of you.
That was also an extremely I am really sad that moment I did not export. That's like the only session that isn't in the archive.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get around to exporting it from Twitch before it expired.
It's even more sad what happened, because I actually remember exactly what happened. After the worm got into Turvu's body, they ran off. Or, they started running away from the zombies. And then, as Turvu lost more and more intelligence, all they said was out. And then Tonatium used the circle against good and evil to trap Turvu's zombie body inside.
Yeah. It was such a great moment. Like, I would send it to you if I could send it to you, Tom, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when the anime gets super dark.
I gotcha.
Because literally, they're running there like, let's get help, and I'm like, take some intelligence damage. And there's a point where they're like, oh crap, he's going to die.
Yeah.
And like Team tried really hard to think of a way to help, but he had no options.
Yeah. And then Tonatium inscribes the magic circle. Turvu dies. Turvu comes back and cannot get out of the circle, as worms are crawling out of Turvu's eyes.
comes in.
Yeah, there's a reason why Turvu retired.
Yeah.
And we're going back to the night declared.
And there's a reason why Tonatium is a real asshole. Because that's also when Tonatium just stopped, having the pretenses of heroism. Oh, that was a good session. This was a good session.
During the life of an adventurer, you either live or you die.
Well, you die, then you live.
This was a pretty good session.
It was.
I'm so glad that I decided to send the Vrock and the Babbo after you instead of another batch of gnolls.
Yeah, that wouldn't have gone well.
Yeah.
But this demon encounter kind of scared me the moment his team started. Like, I just couldn't help.
Mm-hmm. And now you've been warned that the Lord of the Demon Star knows you're coming.
We're gonna have to fight him.
Probably not, but that doesn't mean that they're just gonna sit around and let me do what I want.
We're gonna have to fight a high-ranking demon general.
I may have shared part of its stat block with you. Mal, I may have shared part of the stat block with you.
Oh, you did? This is the upcoming encounter that's going to happen?
I'll go ahead and share the line of what it is with you. I won't share much with you on this, but I will share that with you as my spoiler pick for you. This won't be next session, I hope.
Oh, Herald of War. That's something you did not share with me. You shared with me offense, speed 40 feet, 2 pincers plus 23 to hit.
Yes.
And 2 claws plus 23 to hit, and a bite plus 20 to hit.
Let me feel the power.
You know, the thing that literally cannot miss me unless it rolls a natural 1.
This guy is a thing. It's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, let's point that out, kid. I have 24 AC. It has a plus 23 to hit.
Yes, I know. It has a lot more than that. It's going to probably be the hardest fight you've had.
I'm not sure that I'm more concerned about his natural attacks or the fell sword. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm more concerned about the spell sword. He can dominate DC 18. I cannot make that DC, I don't think. Yeah. I don't think I can make that DC. That's what I would hit.
I'm glad I put up shield because I would have taken a lot more damage from the demons.
Yeah. I just want to share that with you so that you know that maybe you will need to go and come back and go and come back and not just try to push through everything in one session.
Uh-huh.
This is my you're getting real moment. How far are you from leveling up, by the way?
Pretty far. Let me actually look it up.
Let's see. Got one.
Because I'm
We
actually
are at 8995.
and I'm going to go ahead and give you all another 2,100 experience.
I don't even think that will get us to level up.
How far are you from leveling?
Let me just.
Actually, I think that would. We are going to level 11 on fast track.
Yes.
So yeah, that would level it. No, it wouldn't. Very fast.
Okay, go ahead and go up to level up. This is where I want you to level up.
So exactly, go to exactly that level up?
Yep, go to exactly that level up. Because I built this with you being that level in mind.
Being level 11?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want you to be level 12 when you hit that boss. So
we should save the level up until after final place to rest the next session.
I imagine you're going to rest before crawling into the hole.
Probably, actually.
Yeah. I just wonder if we get interrupted.
You won't. I'm not. You won't. You've hit your encounter cap for the day.
Alright.
Alright, so it's not for HP then.
Yeah.
2 HP clear.
And let me give you a proper spoiler image for next time. Assuming you push through, I think it's reasonable to assume you would encounter... Yeah, sure. Let's spoiler image. There's the good spoiler image.
At least I got some good. At least I got lots of health this level.
Yeah, don't do some using HP, but
I'm not.
Next week.
It's not 40.
Next week on Shackled City.
oh my god. Shit.
What?
I have 3 attacks a turn now.
Yay!
One at plus 11, one at plus... Oh, that's my bad. 11, 6, and 1.
Well,
I
I will save, and because there's a rumor I heard that you might want to try to session 0 possibly. Now I will I will change campaigns and end the stream.
I'll be right back. I need to rest too.
Oh man, get your beads.
So, does anyone have anything else you want to say to the stream before the stream goes away?
We might die.
And fuck you all too.